Hello and welcome to HawkTalk, the show where we discuss the topics that you send in. My name is Danny Shepard.
My name's Noel Shefflin.
And my name is Tony Smith.
And every week we reach into a helmet and pull out 3 topics to discuss that you guys send us.
The show is then divided into 3 parts, released Tuesday through Thursday, full episode going live Friday.
The full audio version goes live on Tuesday on iTunes and on SoundCloud.
All right. Well, how about you get us started here, Noel?
We got
that
young Kylo Ren helmet.
Upside down, obviously, because,
Upside down.
you know.
want me
That
to
young.
Going in, guys.
Going in.
Going in.
It's happening.
All right. Here's the...
See you later, Kylo Ren.
in. You should have done it like Lil Wayne.
I mean, he broke the helmet, so it's fine. It doesn't even matter. All right. What movie/show would you want to make outside of the superhero sci-fi genre?
Oh, man.
This question, do you want me to say who the question comes from?
Mm-hmm.
The question comes from our very own Jan.
Okay. So what movie would we want to make outside of the superhero genre?
Yep, out of the
Okay.
superhero sci-fi genre.
You want to get us started?
Yeah. So I've always been drawn to... My favorite kind of movies are tragedies where they don't end in a happy ending. So that's a kind of a bummer. But the reason why I like those kind of movies is because there's a really gritty realism to it, and I think that's the kind of film that I would want to make. Not necessarily a tragedy, but just a real movie. Just a movie that like my favorite genre is sci-fi. So that's actually pretty funny that they're asking this specific question.
They know us too well at this
They
point.
do.
They already know they're gonna pick something superhero or sci-fi.
Yep. But I just really like just really gritty dramas. Like, doesn't have to be a period piece necessarily.
Like Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream is
Sicario.
really awesome. Sicario's super dope. End of Watch.
Yeah, End
Now,
of
does
Watch was
this-
gritty.
Does this film have to end in a tragedy, or
No, it doesn't have to end in a tragedy per se. But I think it should end
Realistically?
Realistically. Like, sometimes the couple doesn't always get back together, but they see eye to eye and they're like, okay, we can still be cool. Something like that.
would you consider like 500 Days of Summer in
Oh,
that?
I was just about to ask that
absolutely.
question.
100%.
Well, because,
Yeah.
I mean,
500 Days of Summer was amazing.
Such a good movie.
So
you guys
you-
haven't seen that, go see it.
yeah,
Yes.
you definitely should watch that movie, especially if you're going through like a weird time in your life where you're trying to figure out how to move on from a relationship. That is a very good movie to watch.
Yep.
I guess do you want to go? Do you want? Is it
No,
okay
no,
if I go?
please.
I have a specific actual original series that I have in mind. It's basically a mix between The Newsroom and another like tech company that I'd like to basically tell the story of this tech company, kind of like Silicon Valley, but Silicon Valley only kind of shows what the corporate structure, like the board guys are doing, like the big top guys that are actually developing the software. I honestly don't know what Silicon Valley
Have you
is
seen
about.
Silicon Valley?
No.
No, it's actually about like a startup company.
Okay,
They're
so
like
it's a startup.
The bottomest of levels.
Okay, so-
they're in an incubator.
So
It's so good.
are they a startup? Are they the owners? So they're the creators of the startup?
Founders.
Oh man, you got to watch this show.
Okay.
It's hard to explain, but it is all awesome. If you haven't seen Silicon Valley, it's in my opinion one of the smartest comedies out right now. It's
Okay.
so freaking good.
Is it over? Are they continuing?
It's ongoing, and the last couple seasons have gotten a little repetitive. I'm not gonna lie on that
Yeah.
one, but it's definitely a really smart, well-written show. T.J. Miller's character Erlich Bachman is just like it's so ridiculous. He's just so ridiculous. All the characters are very ridiculous.
Hell
like,
yeah.
in the best way. But they're all
yeah.
just like a bunch of nerds trying to make a startup company.
Okay.
Middle out development. You know what I'm saying?
So
Okay.
yours would be like fast-paced, like Newsroom and
Exactly.
Social Network.
So it's like what you would see in like the Newsroom or like the West Wing, but it's entirely encompassing a large corporation that has already started. And going back to the beginning of that big company when it was a startup would be kind of cool, but I wouldn't do that until I got 3 or 4 seasons in, because you would have these characters all in different departments and all in different subsets of the actual company, and you'd be able to
Gotcha.
follow them through their own journey,
And sometimes they'll
personally
cross paths.
and professionally. Exactly.
That's pretty
Cool.
dope.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like my love child.
Yeah. Action and comedy are big on my thing. So like
And when they're
if-
married, it's such a
yeah,
good
I would probably
combination.
do something action comedy, like something like
like Bad Boys.
maybe more like Hot Fuzz.
Okay.
Some of them more like Hot Fuzz or Scott Pilgrim.
Slightly a little bit more meta than Bad Boys.
I
'Cause
think
Bad
so.
Boys is like, it's not taking itself seriously, but it's
It's very serious.
Yeah.
No, like they're yeah. No,
It's a cop movie.
it's a cop movie in L.A.
Right.
Or is it L.A. or is it Florida?
Miami.
Miami. It's Miami.
Yeah.
It's Miami.
Yeah, if I was gonna make an action comedy like that, it's gonna be like an over the top action. Like, I feel like movies like Bad Boys and stuff like that could actually benefit from being a little more self aware. Like, if it's gonna be like, if you're gonna be like over the top action, make it like over the top action.
Right.
Like Hot Fuzz knew exactly what it was, and that's why it was so effective and how much fun that movie was.
That movie was fun, dude.
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz knew what it was.
Edgar, a lot of what Edgar Wright does, I think. I love Edgar Wright's movies. So
Edgar's been around for a while, so
Yeah.
he definitely knows. He knows right away when he's getting into a project and he's writing it, or he's help writing it, or he's just directing. He knows exactly what he's getting himself into. He knows the characters. He knows what world it's being set in. I think that's one of the reasons why. What are those? Simon Pegg and the other gentleman's name. What is his name?
Nick Frost.
Nick Frost. Those guys.
Related to Jack Frost.
So we're gonna gloss over that. Jeremy, love you, but yeah, what do you think, dude?
What kind of movie
Outside of sci-fi and
outside of sci-fi
superhero?
and superhero?
Would you want to visit?
we got Jeremy behind the camera over here.
Ah! There's a camera here.
Who put that there?
There's a mic here. Oh my god. Outside of sci-fi and superhero.
Yeah.
I love sci-fi. I don't know what. I think I still fall in the realm of drama.
Drama.
Yes, drama, specifically, not just real world drama, but like drama in the storytelling. But the setting can be anywhere.
Okay.
If it can't be sci-fi, then fantasy, because I like fantasy a lot. Or
Fantasy.
yeah, fantasy is dope.
Yeah,
Like
you've
Lord
heard
of the
about
Rings.
fantasy.
Like Lord of the Rings is just a straight up drama. It just happens to be set in Middle Earth with a lot of crazy stuff going down.
Yeah.
But if you really think about the biggest, I guess, fantastical or sci-fi based movies out there right now, they're just good storytelling.
Yeah.
It just happens to be set in another world.
Yep.
So you're saying you just want to tell good stories?
Yeah, I think that's
Solid.
what he's saying. Yeah,
Solid.
Another
solid.
genre that I'd be interested in tackling. I don't know if you would consider this a genre, but based on true stories, but specifically people, not events. So like I would want to take someone that stood for something and tell their story.
Ooh, that's tricky.
Yeah.
See, for me, events are a little bit easier.
Right.
Events in time based off of that
'Cause you can
event in
just-
that time, like period pieces, even if it's not technically always correct, I think it's a little bit easier because
It's an event. It's a time period.
Yeah,
it's easier to
man, that's
study
hard.
that.
Yeah, it's hard because like you look at some of the best biopics. Who knows? Who cares? Tomato.
Biography
Tomato,
pictures.
potato. You know what I
Potato.
mean?
Spinach, asparagus.
I will have to say, I've always wanted to do a Western.
Yeah.
And not just like the conventional Western that you see, set in the West,
Right.
but a Western style movie that just, it can be set anywhere. Like specifically sci-fi Western. And
Okay.
and Westworld already killed it.
So like Cowboys and Aliens.
Cowboys and
Cowboys and
Aliens.
Aliens,
Yeah,
Jon
exactly
Favreau,
like
your boy
that.
Fabby.
No, not at all.
So Noel, you've never been a huge fan of the fantasy genre.
Correct.
The fact that you're a big Game of Thrones fan is shocking.
So everyone in the world, I'm sure.
Yeah, everyone in the world is shocked by this. Every single one of them. but I think it would be incredibly interesting to see and hear or hear you create a fantasy movie or short or whatever, just because it's not a genre that you like. So
True.
now you have full control. I'd be so interested to see what that would look like, what your perspective of a genre you don't like.
Right.
Because you're just like, I don't like this element, so I'm just going to cut it out. Or I'm going to turn this into this. I'd be very interested in see it would probably be so different.
Yeah.
than
It'd probably be
anything
really
anyone's ever seen.
grounded. It honestly would probably be very realistic fantasy.
Yeah.
Like the way that you look at Game of Thrones, like, or even Lord of the Rings. Like Lord of the Rings, it is very fantastical, but it is still very realistic
Yeah, it's
in
about
its
these
fantasy.
people.
A lot less than Game of Thrones, I would consider.
Yeah, because
There's
even the
definitely less magic.
even the people in the Game of Thrones world like don't believe in a lot of the fantasy stuff.
Oh no, I think Game of Thrones is way more realistic than.
Yeah.
Oh, I think too because you have to take into context like the time period. Like Game of Thrones, this is a really old world that has now kind of lost its magic. And
I see
without
what you're saying.
giving any spoilers away, some of the magic is returning, right? But
Right.
Lord of the Rings, it's like big long bouts of like no magic, and then there's just like Dumbledore's just like calling some big eagles, and you're like, oh shit, there's some big eagles.
That was my Dumbledore's my favorite part of the
so
Lord of the Rings.
Dumbledore's the reason why the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
got
dude,
it.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Dumbledore is the reason why the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Now you know. If you don't know, now you know.
I can't tell if the Dumbledore thing was a mistake or if it was on purpose here.
You'll never know.
What? Just Gandalf.
So anyway,
Gandalf.
let's try to wrap this guy. So you would want to do an original series,
Like drama, fast-paced
like
drama.
workplace
series. Workplace series. Yeah.
Okay, and then you would want to do like a buddy action comedy. What specifically buddy action? Or
Not
necessarily?
specifically buddy action, but definitely like action comedy. Something that is fun, fast-paced, filled with humor, but also has like high octane action. And like the closest thing I can think of to compare it to would probably be something that Edgar Wright did, something like Scott Pilgrim, where it's the comedy is not just in the dialogue or the situations,
It's the
but
physicality, the way it's edited.
exactly the entire experience it's an experience. It's an action comedy experience. Thank you.
I guess I would say that my answer wouldn't be the dramatic. My answer would be fantasy. I would pick a fantasy and I would try to tell the story in my way. I think that's a better answer.
That seems like an interesting challenge in itself. Is just like what genre do you think me and Tony should dive into?
Dive
We're
into.
not
Dude,
typically.
honestly, remember never to ever tell me what to do.
Right? No,
Don't ever tell me what to do.
I would never ever.
You should never do that.
I would.
It's
I
not
wouldn't
a
do
good
something
idea.
like that. I promise. I would just merely suggest, and even then, it would barely be that, Tony. I would want you to make a sports movie.
Oh, dude, you'd make a hella good sports movie.
It wouldn't
Because
be.
I think your perspective of like, I think you would make a really good sports movie, dude.
You would, dude. It'd be super epic.
like
It'd
a
be
sports
Friday Night
movie with the
Lights.
hero's journey.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be like Friday Night Lights.
It would probably be honestly. It would probably be a lot like Rudy. I would definitely take a lot of elements from Rudy. Like it would be. Because like you guys have seen Rudy,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
It's not really about football.
Rudy. Sorry.
Okay, but it's Rudy wasn't really about football. It wasn't about Notre Dame. It was about someone trying to make their dream come true, and the package that it came in was a sports film,
Right.
And that's why that movie is still one of my favorite movies of all time, even though I don't really care about Notre Dame football. Or,
Don't
anything like that.
don't tell our friend Emily that she will fight you.
I mean, I'm not saying that you can love Notre Dame football. I'm just saying that I don't really have any sort of.
He goes, I don't care about.
I don't
Notre
have
Dame.
any sort of emotional connection. You know what I mean?
Jaw
But like,
Jaw definitely feel.
but that movie, every time they pick him up and lift him off the field and they're chanting Rudy, I'm like, you did it, Rudy! You did it! That's definitely.
What would I want you to make? What would I suggest that you make, rather? I would want you to make... Dude, I don't even know.
Stoner comedy.
Let's talk about. We can gloss on it some other time.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that another time.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy, I would actually want Jeremy to make a sports movie, too. I would
Me?
want
A
you
sports
two to make
movie?
A sports movie.
I want Jeremy to make a comedy, a straight up
A
comedy.
straight
That's
up
it.
comedy.
I would love to see what that would look like.
Yeah, she's out of my league style comedy. Like
What?
just like 5 crazy, goofy characters trying to like get one objective. Like
Huh,
one
interesting.
ridiculous objective.
I really wonder what a comedy by
Dazed
me
and
would be
confused.
like. Because, yeah, I really don't know. I don't know what to say. Let's do it. Let's do a comedy.
Challenge ourselves as filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge accepted.
All right. Noel, you want to grab that helmet? Let's
Tony, would you like to...
do the honors.
Here we go.
Oh, Donka.
It's Donkey.
No, it's
It's not. It's
It
not.
is
It's Donka.
not.
All right, guys, here we go. Here you go. Here you go.
Ben!
All right. So, our second topic coming from our very own Preston, who is one of our wonderful interns, and we love him very much.
Presto.
Presco. Favorite songs from movie or TV shows, song from soundtrack, not from movie score.
Okay.
So it has to be specifically not from a movie score and
But
from a soundtrack.
Soundtrack specifically.
Ooh.
Soundtrack specifically.
Ooh, I know.
What's yours?
Do it up.
Mine, so the way that this was actually, it's funny too, because we're going back to Edgar Wright. I actually saw a movie last year, late last year, that blew me away. It was
10,000 BC.
It was Baby Driver. And if you saw Baby Driver or you have not seen it, please do yourself a favor, and the people that will be around you will also thank you for this if they are watching it with you.
Jeez.
The Bell Bottoms intro. Bell Bottoms is the song. I forgot who it is by. I will tell you before we are done with this conversation, though, who it's by. And it is the intro to the actual film, and it is incredible because
The one where he's driving the Subaru.
yeah, Bell Bottoms. Yeah.
That's
amazing.
That scene was
Just
insane.
Yeah, it was. I actually
The
could
John
not.
Spencer blues explosion.
Yeah. So thank you. So Bell Bottoms by the John Spencer Blues Explosion. Incredible. I was listening to that album for probably a month and a half straight after I watched that film, and then I saw.
That happens a lot with Edgar Wright movies because you did the same thing with Scott Pilgrim, too.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, well, it also what happened too. I do it a lot too with Ridley Scott films. I did it with Blade Runner as well. So like
Diddley.
it went Baby Driver and then Blade Runner and then
Did Blade Runner have a soundtrack, like songs to it?
no,
or was
but
it
I was
just a
listening to the score.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was listening,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it did have a soundtrack. It was like mostly Frank Sinatra though,
Like an Elvis song.
and an Elvis
Oh,
song. Yeah.
oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Who's
yeah.
next?
What
Nick.
I'll go next. Mine's another Edgar Wright movie. It's Scott Pilgrim.
We're not Edgar Wright fans. guys.
Shout out to Edgar Wright.
Shout out to Edgar Wright. No, I mean, I thought the music that was integrated in Scott Pilgrim was awesome, and it was. I think the way that Edgar Wright specifically integrates music into his movies is so.
It's a character in its own.
It really is. Like the music is a living, breathing thing. I mean, there's like they were battling in
No.
yeah.
And Scott
Scott
Pilgrim,
Pilgrim was
yeah.
so good. Oh,
So
God.
good.
But anyway, Black Sheep Come Home, that song, Black Sheep
Yeah.
from the Scott Pilgrim soundtrack.
friend of a friend.
Yeah, that was, and it was.
Hello
it was.
friend of a friend.
Who it was? She actually sang that song. The actress, What was her
Brie
name?
Larson.
Brie Larson.
Yeah, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Steady my beating heart. Oh,
I think that's a different character, actually.
Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. That was such an awesome scene. And you have like the CG with like where it
cuts.
It cuts. Oh, so good, man. Ugh.
Yeah. But and again, that's the thing. It's like it's almost edited music video-esque, where it's like you have these very strange cuts and transitions, and it's like you feel the music in the. I work out to that song all the time. I like the
Nice.
whole Scott Pilgrim soundtrack.
It's good.
That's awesome.
It's very good.
What is, Garbage Man on that same soundtrack.
Oh, that's me.
Oh, it's what is it? I'll be your garbage truck.
yeah, I'm your garbage truck.
Truck. Yeah, dude.
My
I love
favorite.
that
My
song.
favorite song is Ramona.
Ramon.
Isn't that Beck?
It is Beck.
That's
yeah.
dope.
I like the beginning. We're all sex bomb. We're here to make you feel death and sad and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I love that song.
My favorite. Were you guys done? My bad.
No, yeah, go for it.
My favorite song is not in an Edgar Wright movie. It is in a movie by Peter Berg called Friday Night Lights. There's a song by Explosions in the Sky.
dude.
It's specifically at the end of the movie and the way it's edited is so brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton's character, he's the coach of the team that he was just coaching. He's like taking down the last names of all the people that are graduating from high school and no longer playing. And as he's like dropping these names, the main character played by Lucas Black, he sees
Miles.
Booby Miles. He sees these kids in the distance playing like football.
Oh no, that wasn't Booby Miles. I'm sorry.
That
Keep
was
going.
yeah. He sees these kids from a distance, and he has this football in hand. This song is playing, and it's swelling up. It's so good, dude. It's just like a clean electric guitar and like a pinch of percussion, if that. And like he sees the kid, and Billy Bob Thornton drops the dude's last name, the guy that's about to throw the ball, and then he throws the ball, and the ball is in the air while the name is dropping, and then the kids catch the ball. It's so dope, dude. And just the way the music hits, so
Dude,
good.
so
inspiring.
Oh man, that
Either that or Lose Yourself by Eminem.
okay.
Oh, shit.
That, yeah.
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 That one won an Oscar.
Yeah. Damn.
Your boy Eminem
I listened
had an
to
Oscar before Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
What about you, German?
I've been trying to think of one, but I can't think of one right now because I have a list on my phone, but we're using the phone to record right now. So
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I listen to a lot of movie scores specifically. So thinking of like a song on a soundtrack with like lyrics and stuff, it's far less.
It's hard.
Yeah,
harder,
It's
yeah.
not
it's
easy.
a lot more difficult.
It's not easy. I think Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. There was a song. I'll find out right now. Actually, you guys can keep vamping. I'm gonna find out this song.
Guardians has a cool soundtrack.
No.
Guardians does.
Guardians does.
Guardians.
Yeah, Guardians definitely
Damn.
does.
Guardians almost feels too easy.
You know what else has a really good soundtrack? The Shrek movie, dude.
Oh hell
Yes.
yeah!
That soundtrack is
That
dope.
soundtrack was
Yeah.
incredible.
Dude, Eddie Murphy.
Murphy.
Eddie Murphy's version of I'm a Believer is so good. So good.
Yeah.
Oh, the song I was talking about is called After Hours, is the title of the track, and it's by We Are Scientists. I was obsessed with that entire album, but that song I could not get enough of. I loved that song. If you guys haven't heard it, you should.
We Are Scientists.
We Are Scientists. They're great.
Yeah. They're
Oh,
dope.
Elf. Zoe Deschanel's version of what was it called?
Baby, It's Cold Outside?
Yes,
Nice.
That was cool.
Hella Zoe Deschanel.
Zoe Deschanel.
Yo, your girl. She wears glasses.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, dude. 500 Days of Summer for sure. 500 Days of Summer summer soundtrack is. After I saw that movie, I was constantly listening to that soundtrack. How
That's
could I
dope.
forget about that? That song, Us, off of. Have you guys heard that one?
Oh, yeah,
I don't think
that
I
one.
have,
That song.
actually.
It's got the piano. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Uno momento, por favor.
Yeah. Okay.
Uno momento, por favor.
Deadpool.
Oh, yeah, dude.
The Deadpool soundtrack.
No, the actual Deadpool song, the original Deadpool. Do you remember that song?
No.
Dude, it was played during the montage of when he was like trying to figure
Oh,
out
yeah, I
like what the
remember that.
perfect costume of his
Yeah.
is to wear. If you listen to the
Deadpool.
song, you'd be
Yeah.
like, what?
I don't think I noticed that at all.
Dude, it's
I was
so
just
good.
captivated by the visuals.
So funny,
The
dude.
Moon Song and by Scarlett Johansson and Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
that
and-
song is incredible.
Yeah, dude. And who played it? It was
Karen O.
Yeah, Sharon O and Ezra.
Karen.
Karen O.
Karen O.
O.
I'm sorry, yeah, Karen O and Ezra. What's his last name? Cohen. Ezra Cohen
Miller?
from
Koenigsegg.
Ezra
No.
Ezra Koenig from the Vampire Weekend played it at the Oscars.
Dope.
It
That's
was
cool. I did not see that.
I didn't see the movie. I didn't see the movie till 2 years after it came out. I saw them playing and I was like, what's happening? What is this? This is amazing and I love it so much.
I love that song. And either version, Karen O's version or Scarlett Johansson's version, it's incredible.
Karen O is, by the way, if you didn't know, is from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
Mm-hmm.
She's incredible.
Yes.
Oh my god, I haven't heard the Yeahs
Oh.
in forever. It's been some time.
Dude.
Oh
and Trent's-
my God.
Her and Trent
Yes.
immigrant song.
Yes, her version of the immigrant song in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the American version.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Trent Reznor? Oh,
bro.
dude.
Oh
that song
my
is
God,
sick.
what a song.
Hella dap.
What a
That
cover.
whole intro to that movie is crazy.
I'm surprised you guys haven't said. I mean, I guess this would be considered a score. Would you consider this a score? The Daft Punk soundtrack of
Yes,
Tron? Okay.
that is a score. Because
Okay.
they specifically.
Bow,
The soundtrack for Walter Mitty. That entire soundtrack is so good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
So
oh
good.
yeah, and oh man, I keep forgetting everybody's names today. I hate that. You ever have one of those days?
Of Monsters and Men.
Not of Monsters and Men, but the other one. It was a David Bowie song, and
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig plays a 12
Yes.
string guitar.
Yes. That whole
a-
scene is just beautiful.
I was like, what? That's a 12 string. I didn't know you could play guitar, girl. That's dope. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Inside Llewyn Davis's
That's a movie.
Inside
dude.
Llewyn Davis, the soundtrack. I don't know if you can technically call this a song or a soundtrack, but he has a song called Queen. I think it's The Death of Queen Jane. Holy monkey. That is a
And in the
beautiful
movie,
song.
it's
so
really
here's
good.
another little question along with that is if a song is written original for a movie, is that part of the score or the soundtrack?
Soundtrack.
I think
it's still a song.
It's both, I think, technically. Because it's pushing the film forward on a sound level, so it is composition, but it's also a soundtrack because it's technically it's a tracked song.
with lyrics and
Yeah, with actual lyrics.
Because the music of Lose Yourself was used in the score of the movie, but then the song in itself is
Same
on the
thing.
soundtrack.
Same thing with like Inside Llewyn Davis is you have like all these different pieces that are being integrated on an instrumental level, but they're then being played as songs specifically.
But then
as
what's the
songs.
definition of a soundtrack? Is it a collection of songs that were licensed to be used in a movie, like pre-existing songs?
Not necessarily
Both.
pre-existing.
I think
but
both
just,
pre-existing and existed for the actual film.
like original.
Yeah, original.
But
Interesting.
a score is specifically like instrumental normally an instrumental composition.
Man, I've got to say that thinking about it, if Lose Yourself counts, it's probably my favorite
Yeah.
song from a soundtrack.
Yeah,
for sure.
I
I
think
listen to it the most often than anything else. So that's
Damn.
got to be
Yeah.
that's got to be it
Oh
for
yeah,
me.
yeah.
That
There
makes
has
If
to be.
that's the barometer, how often you listen to it and how much, like that song still affects me to this day.
Oh yeah,
like-
Mom Spaghetti.
yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah, Daft Punk would be considered the score for Tron Legacy. And
true.
like
The
how
great.
Arcade Fire is.
I guess the reason why I asked that is because they're an instrumental band anyway. So I'm like, would it count? But I guess
Yeah.
it does go specifically with the scenes in the movie. So that's a score.
Yeah, they wrote it for the movie, or they
Right.
composed. I think they
It
composed
was Hans Zimmer
specifically.
and Daft Punk, right?
I
Most of the
don't think
orchestra
so.
was. I thought it was Hans Zimmer
I
and
think he
Daft
just
Punk.
helped
Consult-
arrange it.
Oh.
I am going to find
Yes,
out.
look that up. But like how Arcade Fire is the composer, or are the composers for her.
Mm-hmm. I
That's
got you.
part of the score,
Okay.
and then they have a separate soundtrack.
Okay. Interesting.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah. Did you find it?
I could have swore Hans Zimmer was a part of this.
I don't remember ever seeing his name on Tron Legacy.
So you guys haven't seen any trailers for Black Panther, but
No.
I think it definitely has a soundtrack along.
Yeah, bro, that soundtrack is killer so far. I cannot.
So now here's another question: is that a soundtrack, or
Yes,
is that just a?
that is a soundtrack.
That's a soundtrack.
Yep.
Are you sure it's not just an album inspired by the movie?
100% the soundtrack, because the soundtrack of Luke Cage had pre-existing and new songs,
Yeah.
but it was still a soundtrack, and then it had its own composition, which was a score.
But I was under the assumption that the Black Panther album is just an album inspired by the movie, but those songs aren't going to be in the movie.
Oh, I thought they were going to be in the movie. I was under a different impression.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely aren't going to be in the movie.
Oh man,
Well, the album is already like explicit.
Yeah, but they can censor the songs.
they
That's-
can.
Like, that's totally allowed. That's
That
what they
is
did
totally-
with Suicide Squad.
Kendrick Lamar songs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, produced by
haven't- I-
Kendrick Lamar
I haven't even
Top
heard that
dog.
yet.
and his.
I think we could
record
talk about
label.
music and soundtracks and songs like all day, dude.
All day.
honestly.
All day.
Yeah.
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 All right, so before we do the third and final topic, just a quick plug for our Patreon. Definitely check that out, guys. We're now offering an exclusive HawkTalk only on Patreon once a month. So if you guys like the show, you want to support us, help us grow, definitely check that out. We're offering a ton of awesome rewards and perks and stuff, so definitely check those out. All right, third and final topic. Let's do this thing. All right.
That young third topic. You want
Sweet.
to do the honors,
It's all
Danjo?
Yep.
banjo.
Swirl it up. Swirl it up.
This
Mix it.
Kylo Ren helmet is actually a little
Mix
bit
it.
awkward. There's like a thing inside that's keeping me from. Okay, there we go.
it a head?
it is.
Is it a head? Noel says no.
Jeremy replies.
Oh.
That's funny.
All right. So
Do you want to pick a different one or no?
I like this one.
Okay,
Oh wait, this is two questions. We can do the first one or the second one. I think we should do the second one.
I think we should do the second one too.
the second
Okay. So this one is I don't know who actually sent in this topic. So, but the question is, what is the best movie trilogy in your opinion?
Oh man.
Yeah, this is a hard one. This one is going to start wars in the comments.
Oh boy. Do you guys want to start? You guys
Oh,
need,
dude,
need
this
some
is hard.
time to ponder.
Oh man, gosh, because there's a lot of factors to take in.
Yeah.
Like,
There actually is a lot. Okay, so there's rewatchability for
Mm-hmm.
the whole set. There's the fact that in some trilogies the first two are really good, and then the third one is slightly less, or the third is just garbage. And then there's just so much to consider, dude.
there's so much to consider. So I think it'd probably be better to say what is our favorite
Yeah,
movie trilogy as opposed to
that's true.
trying to select.
Which one the best one is on like an actual critique level, right?
And then favorite is just like what
And
you
then
like
just
the
favored
most.
like what you like the most just to watch,
Yeah,
right?
let's do favorite.
Oh man, God, that's so hard. That's so difficult.
I know. I think I know.
What's yours?
It's probably Lord of the Rings for me. That's probably like, I think it's just because of how important it was to me when I was growing up. Like, because one of my very, very good family friends, his name is Keith. He took me and my cousin to see the first Lord of the Rings, and he like took us and like got us ice cream, and he was like, "Hey, there's this book that I read," and we didn't know what was going on. Like our moms just wanted us to hang out with more men because we were both of our moms were, single parents, and then we didn't have any like male figures as dads. So we were like maybe like 11, I think, when it came out, or 10. And he's like, yeah, there was this book that I read. He took us for ice cream. There's this book that I read that really just spoke to me. And it was called Lord of the Rings. And I was like, oh, wow. I think I've heard of that book. And he's like, yeah, it's a really big book, probably really hard to read now. But if you want, we can go see the movie. And he already got the tickets. He was just asking.
Fellowship?
Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
And it was Fellowship of the Rings. And
That's super sweet. I didn't know that, dude.
I was like, whoa, like the intro to it, and you hear Kate Blanchett's voice, and you're like, what is going on?
I was not prepared for this.
Yeah, well, because the first time I saw Lord of the Rings, I was like 7, and it was the old animated version.
Oh man, I love that version.
And it was like super like
just 70s
like,
cartoon,
yeah,
80s
like,
cartoon, whatever it was.
Really, like you have like those figures that they would use, and then they would like superimpose it on the image, and it was like actual figures like fighting and stuff, like the way that they did in Bram Stoker's Dracula, but they're in the shadow, and that's what I thought I was going into. I thought I was going to be like really campy and like kind of like over the top.
And you're just like,
and you roll into it, it's like.
The music is so good.
You're just like,
the graphics are really impressive in that movie.
What's going on right now? Oh my god, this is grim.
and then you hear Kate Blanchett's voice, like, whoa, and then you see Gollum, and I was like, I don't remember him being that way. I don't remember him being that way. That's scary. I don't like that.
He spoke completely differently in the 70s cartoon or whatever.
Oh yeah, dude.
He's like
it's like a cat.
My precious.
Yeah.
Where is my precious?
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he sounded so different.
Way different,
dude.
Yeah, it's like
He was
super
like a frog.
Low, yeah, like super low frog voice, and then you have like Andy Serkis as Gollum. He's just like, oh god, you're just like, oh god, so gross. I hate it. And
need a hug.
probably
Dude,
Lord of the Rings.
Smeagol definitely scared the crap. Gollum scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I was like, ooh, this is off-putting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then
He
you
ain't
see him
cute.
in is it the second one? He has his intro.
Yeah. You just
see
see his
Smeagol's-
his eyes and his fingers in Fellowship.
Yeah, that really creeped me out, dude. Lord of the Rings, I was a mess after Lord of the Rings. You guys remember when you go to a movie theater as a kid and you'd walk out and you'd have that feeling like you can't catch your breath? And it happens to me very rarely now. Like it happened to me during Dunkirk. I felt like I was drowning the entire time I was watching that film.
I felt that way when I was watching Gravity. There wasn't for the first 2 or 3 minutes, I was like, this is a movie. And then from there on out, I was like, okay.
Dude, that was me during Sunshine.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I felt walking out of Lord of the Rings the first time I watched it as like a 10-year-old.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
I don't want to keep you guys go now.
I gotta hand it to you. Lord of the Rings is definitely up there for me in terms of best trilogies because you think about it, and it's like all 3 of those movies are excellent.
Oh yeah.
All 3 of them are good. It's consistent. There is no like people's favorites.
critically and like audience, like
Oh, yeah.
everyone
Exactly.
loves those movies.
They all have a different tone and feel. Like your battle lovers will love the Two Towers.
Your
Like
epic storytellers will love Return of the King.
yeah, I think Return of the as a kid, Two Towers was my favorite, and I think as an adult,
Return of the King.
Return of the King.
Oh yeah.
Return of the King was so epic.
Yeah, Theoden's growth in Return of the King was just like heart-wrenching.
For Return of the King, do you guys like the theatrical cut or the extended?
I like both actually.
Man, I gotta say, I watched the extended cut again and was like, the theatrical cut is better.
Okay.
Yeah, don't at me.
Don't at me. What?
No, seriously, I
my
watched
God.
the extended cuts and I was just like, man, these are.
I'm pretty sure. Didn't they cut out like Legolas's entire plot line?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but
most, at least. I mean, it wasn't necessary, but that was one of the things I heard.
it's just certain things that just felt like the movie wasn't as snappy Like, don't get me wrong, you got to watch the extended cut. You got to
Yeah.
experience it. You need to have the whole story. I mean, you don't like Lord of the Rings, but like you got to feel and experience the entire story. But the theatrical cut just feels like the pacing is snappier
Yeah.
and they work. And they're more for me. They're more. I would rather
I
go
can
back and watch
see-
the theatrical.
I can
cut
totally see
than
that.
the extended.
Yeah, I can totally see where that's coming from.
I think I got to go. Crap, man. I want to say Star Wars. I want to say
The
Star
original
Wars.
series?
Yeah,
The original trilogy?
but I'm not going to say Star Wars. I'm going to say the Nolan Batman
Oh, of
trilogy.
course. I knew it. I knew it was
Nice.
coming.
And I don't care what everybody says about the third one. Yes, the third one is weaker than the first two.
I don't care what anyone says about the first one, dude. A lot of people are like, oh, the first one's boring. He's not even that way to happen in the movie. I'm like, it's called Batman Begins, butthead.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. That's probably the best Batman movie out. Like Dark Knight
Agreed.
is an amazing story. It's incredible. But Batman Begins is the best Batman movie.
Yep, I would agree with that.
There's a
And-
journey. There's an obvious journey there. Like with the second one, it's almost jarring because of the way that things progress. The third one is just like epic as hell. You have this crazy big buff
Bad guy
Swedish
who wins
man.
at the beginning.
Yeah,
Dude, one of my
what
most
would break
favorite
first.
moments in Batman Begins is when he's standing by the river and he's holding the gun and he makes a decision to throw it in the
Yeah.
water. That defined Batman in the whole movie.
Yep.
Dude, yeah, he made that one decision played out over the course of the entire trilogy.
Yeah.
It was a good trilogy, man. And like, yeah, the third movie had some weird plot holes, but like,
So did the second one.
yeah, but it was solid. It was
Yeah.
a solid story, and I felt satisfied
It was
at
a
the
complete.
end.
Yeah, it was a very complete story. That's how I saw it. It would have been dope to have Joker in the third one, obviously, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it happens. It probably would have made the trilogy even better. Like it probably would have been had a lot more impact had Heath Ledger been able to reprise his role.
rest
As
in peace.
of
Yeah.
Today,
today,
10 years.
this recording, it's been 10 years.
As of this recording, 10 years. Gosh,
Bam.
that's crazy. What about you, man?
So you're not gonna say Star Wars, so I am.
There
the
you go.
original Star Wars trilogy is easily my favorite. Those movies had such a profound effect on me and how I live. It's ridiculous. Those movies were the first movies that I can remember seeing. My parents say that the first movie that I went to see was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which makes sense as to why I love them so much. But the first movie that I remember seeing in theaters was the re-release of A New Hope, even though I had already watched them at home on VHS, the original cuts. When I saw them in theaters, I was completely transported, and I was like, yo, these movies are amazing. So I would say those ones. If I had to pick a favorite out of that trilogy, it would probably be A New Hope. First one that started. it all.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you like The Force Awakens?
I love The Force Awakens.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Force
That
Awakens
makes
is
sense.
probably my favorite Star Wars movie.
Wow. Holy crap, dude.
And this is coming from a dude who watched the original trilogy many, many times beforehand. I really like The Force Awakens.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you said Last Jedi was your favorite.
I thought, yeah, dude, it changes every day. Ask me tomorrow. Ask me tomorrow. My favorite will be Attack of the Clones.
If Attack of the Clones is ever your favorite, you can leave.
Okay. The day that Attack of the Clones is not my favorite, I won't come over.
What? Oh man.
Jeremy, what's your favorite trilogy?
Lord of the Rings is definitely up there. Nolan's Batman trilogy is definitely up there. Edgar Wright's Cornetto trilogy is incredible. But I think my favorite is definitely Toy Story.
I was literally just about to change my mind to that, dude. As soon as you were talking, I'm like,
Toy Story.
wait, no,
I
never
didn't
mind.
think about it.
Yep.
Yeah. They're making a
Toy
4,
Story.
though.
Yeah, they're making a
4.
4, but that Toy Story trilogy
Oh,
that
dude.
with Andy's
Why you gotta
toys,
bring that up, man? Why you gotta bring
that
up, man?
is so perfect in every way.
Dude, I didn't even think
And if I
of
had to
that.
pick my favorite, I think 2 is my favorite.
I think 3 would have to be my favorite out of those 3.
3 is a great knot at the end, like tying everything up, and it's perfect ending. Like I've never seen a more perfect ending to a trilogy, other than like Lord of the Rings with Return of the King. But I will say, like Toy Story 2 hits hard.
Dude, I watched Toy Story 2 and 3 with you at your house, like back to back. When
Oh
we were
yeah,
working on Nightwing.
Was that for the first? Oh no, well you've seen it in theaters, right?
No, I didn't see 2 or 3. Those are my first time seeing both. Those
Oh my
movies.
god, you're right. I remember your reaction. You're like, holy, oh my god.
And then we went and got Denny's. It was good.
Yes. Oh my god, that Toy Story.
Dude. But I
Story
still think
trilogy is a good one.
I think Star Wars is my favorite actually, but Toy Story is like
Also, like,
there.
I saw Toy Story 1 at Andy's age in the movie in Toy
Yeah.
Story 1. Saw Toy Story 2, the same age. And then seeing Toy Story 3 in theaters, you know, after growing up like Andy did in the
Right.
movies, oh my God. It's like you're watching your own life or whatever.
that is true.
It's
That's
crazy.
what they
It's
did that
eerie.
for, dude. That's
Yeah.
what they. That's
Pixar
why they
is
did that.
very, they got the brains.
Did you
Yeah.
play with action figures as a kid a lot?
Yeah.
Same.
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 I loved action figures.
Swag
of
I
Gundams.
still occasionally like a good action figure.
good
My
action
taste-
I
figure
enjoy a
toy
very
sesh.
good action figure.
My tastes are a little bit more profound. I enjoy a lot more articulation.
Sure. Of course.
Trilogies, man.
Yeah, I guess
there
that's-
are a lot of amazing trilogies out there.
Like The Godfather, except for the third movie.
Yeah, dude. So hold on,
Godfather
really quick.
isn't a trilogy.
It's
just
just two movies. What's up?
I mean, there are a lot of films.
Like
And,
the Back to the Future.
I mean, the third movie wasn't terrible. It was still.
To this day, I have yet to finish. Back
Really?
To the Future Part
What?
3. I have not.
You know
finished.
what?
I have
It's not the
no
best, but I
idea.
still watch it. Like
Yeah.
I like
I
it.
literally have no idea how that movie ends.
What?
Yeah,
Dude.
I don't know the end of that story.
DJ. Sorry. Sorry, that was a Just Friends reference.
That's actually that's one of the reasons why, because you think about trilogies, and the third one is almost always the weakest.
Yeah.
and it sucks because even Return of the Jedi, I think is the weakest to
Agreed.
me of the original Star Wars trilogy.
It is.
Lord of the Rings is I think one of the
Exceptions.
exceptions to that rule. Spider-Man 3. We all know that's the best Spider-Man movie. I'm sorry, I can't.
X-Men
I
3
can't.
makes me want to puke.
X3.
Yikes. X3.
X3. Brett Ratner, what a twerp.
What a twerp. Yeah, twerp.
I'm trying to think of other like third movies that aren't quite.
I
that
guess they're
good.
just not memorable.
Yeah.
Like if a movie, if the third movie isn't
X-Men
good.
Apocalypse. Not.
Oh yeah, that is the trilogy. That is the third film in the trilogy of the First Class.
Yeah.
First Class
And
trilogy.
First Class and Days of Future Past was so good.
Dude, Days of Future Past was so good. It was so good.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Burrito this.
Well, that's going to be it for this week. Thank you to everyone who sent in your questions. You guys are awesome. Remember, check out our Patreon if you want to support the show. We also have merch at teespring.com/stores/Ismahawk if you want to pick up some cool Ismahawk merch like this mug and whatnot. And thank you again for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate every single one of you out there. And we'll see you on the next one. Oh, was I supposed to do that?
Nah, man. You don't have to. It's fine.
It's me and Noel's thing.
Yeah,
It works better though because we're on the actual outsides, so it actually works
Are
good.
you guys round the outside? Round the outside?
Okay, I'm gonna head out now, I guess.
I'm gonna head out.
Okay. All right. Well. Hello, darkness, my old friend.